Now, when I was going through footage from my various outings throughout the years, I came to a realisation I had footage of every narrow gauge railway in my little part of the world, Kent. Narrow gauge railways have always been a major part of the Garland of England's history for many years, ranging from military, industrial, and passenger service lines. Once spanning across the country, most like the elusive World War One Davington Light Railway, have sadly succumbed to time. More on that another time. No pun intended. Now, narrow gauge itself is a very broad phrase for a railway line, but I think the general consensus is if that someone mentions narrow gauge, you generally think of 2 foot to 2 foot 6 gauge tracks. So that's what I'll be focusing on today. The three lines in which I refer to are, of course, the Sittingbourne and Kemsley Light Railway, the Bredgar and Wormshill Light Railway, and the Richmond Light Railway. So these will be the topic of today's discussion. Now, the Sittingbourne and Kemsley Light Railway is the preserved southern half of the former Bowwaters Railway, built to move the raw materials for paper making around the mills of Sittingbourne. Edward Lloyd, the owner and publisher, built Sittingbourne Mill in 1867 to supply his empire with paper. The railway was originally horse-drawn, but in 1905 the first steam traction arrived in the form of two Kerr Stuart Brazilian-class locomotives, Premier and Leader. The locomotive fleet grew, and by the time of the system's heyday there were 14 steam locomotives, including two fireless engines plus one diesel and one battery electric engine. The company has changed hands a number of times, passing from the Lloyd family in 1927 to the Berry family, and was finally purchased by the Bowater family in 1936. In 1965, the Bowater Company decided it would be better to transport material via road, and thus in 1969 the railway was handed over to the now Sittingbourne and Kemsley Light Railway. Now, unlike the SKLR, the next two lines have limited history, both being private lines. The Bredgar and Wormshill Light Railway is a 2-foot gauge railway situated in the Kent Downs. Started in 1975 by Bill and David Best, in the beginning it was just the two brothers realising their interest in steam engines and engineering by acquiring old retired engines and restoring them to their former glory. Their friends decided to join them in their work whenever they had spare time. Track was laid around the then farmhouse and fields that Bill lived in with his family, and then they decided that the railway would open once a month to the public. The site has continued to do so for 50 years, and now what the line might lack in industrial heritage, it certainly makes up in industrial machines. The site boasts 9 steam locomotives in total, all of which have impressive backgrounds, like Ieju, for example. Built by Orenstein and Koppel of Berlin in 1912, it was bought for the construction of the garden village at Port Sunlight on the Wirral, and where work ceased during the First World War, it was sold for use in the building of Cowd Reservoir in the mountains north of Capel Creek in North Wales. The impressive little line also boasts a number of other impressive machinery, such as the Thomas Horn beam engine built in 1870, a number of tractors. I don't know much about tractors, but I think they look pretty cool, as well as of a couple of local boys by Evelyn and Porter. And finally, the last line still in operation down here in the corner of the UK is the Richmond Light Railway. Now, this is another 2-foot gauge line that is generally not open to the public, but from time to time you can find yourself able to visit. Now, compared to the other two railways, this line is a baby in comparison, only opening in 2007 after a former pig farm was acquired. Plans were put in place to build a small private line in which an impressive collection of locomotives could be housed from around the world. The engine shed was built in 2010, with the main line being built in 2012 and a passing loop being added in 2013. And that's it. That's all I can tell you about the line. There was an extension built in 2015 to New Barn Holt, but the line doesn't have any history. It's a very impressive collection of steam, diesel and engines from across the world, and I think I can speak for everyone when I say the envy of a lot of us train nerds. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that brief little look at the surviving narrow gauge railways here in Kent. It's a shame that some of the more unique lines, such as military and industrial lines, don't survive anymore, and I do plan on going out and documenting the sites at some point in the future, so let me know in the comments which one you think I should trace first. As always, I'd like to thank you for watching, and if you would be so kind as to hit that subscribe button, it would be appreciated, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.